mine, but on the very top of the hill, San Pablo and darn it, you came back and asked, the bank came back and asked. They expressed a concern about the like telephone wiry things.
Well,
and
that's
then
exactly right.
I wasn't involved. I just kind of saw what was going on, and then you found that it wasn't really a big difference in value. There was one that sold at a similar value on Mescal or something with the telephone wires.
Well, what you're doing, if you have a house on a busy street, or you have a house that backs to, let's say, high tension electrical wires, like we're talking about, what that is, that's a form of depreciation. It's external depreciation. It's something that affects the value of the property off-site.
Okay.
And what the lenders and what is typical appraisal practice is that you have to bracket the elements of comparison.
Okay.
So if you have something on a busy street, that means that you can't have all your comparables on quiet streets. You also have to have something on a busy street.
Right.
So if you have a 1,100 square foot house, you have to have something that's bigger than 1,100 square feet. And you have to have something smaller than 1,100 square feet. That's the bracketing. And you have to do this with all the elements of comparison when you're looking at a house.
You pretty much have to stay in the same zip code, even if something is over the edge and more similar, or like Seaside, Kimball Hillby, and Delray Oaks. Could you use Delray Oaks next to Seaside, Kimball Hillby, or no?
Well, you could if we're talking about Seaside. First off, when you're determining a property value, you look at the location. That's always first.
Sure.
So there's different locations, there's different neighborhoods in Seaside. Seaside has a horseshoe, so to speak. So the higher property values run from the north side of Seaside, and they run down the east side of Seaside, which is the upper Seaside area, and then they run down to the Kimball area. So if you have a property in the Kimball area, you're going to use something that fronts Broadway, for instance, and the answer would be no.
Right.
So you have to know.
I love that you know that, though. All appraisers don't.
Well, that's competency, and hopefully you find somebody that when the AMC employs somebody, that they employ somebody that's competent.
Right. And hopefully close enough, not driving from Sacramento to appraise.
Well, that's back to geographical competency. Yeah.
Right.
You want somebody that's in touch with the local market.
Right.
And it's just very important. And
that's why I always go, oh, thank God we got you guys.
Well,
because we don't get to pick.
No, you don't. But the fallacy is that you're stuck with who comes out to your property, and that's not true.
I have learned that, and I've educated my sellers on that.
Well, it just makes good sense if somebody is an appraiser that comes to your property, and let's say you've had bad experiences with them for whatever reason, whether it's a personality disagreement or just maybe the way they present themselves or maybe the way they dress. If it's going to undermine anything in the appraisal process, you probably don't want them to be there. In other words, if somebody tells me they're coming to Sacramento to appraise my property and I live in Pebble Beach, my answer would be no.
Exactly.
I'd rather you hire another person. And what the AMCs do is they rotate the appraisers.
Okay.
But the reason so many realtors just accept what comes to them, I'm talking about the appraisers, is because of time. Because once you say that,
oh, that's so true.
I don't want this particular person there, then it has to go back through the channels, which means that you have to go back to the
good week before, and then you're waiting for the report another week.
So many of the realtors they just go with the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
But we all know that if it goes sour or it goes backwards for you, maybe it would have been better to
I don't go
wait.
with the luck of the draw. I always make sure I know who it is, and I'm always thankful when it's somebody local like you and experienced. Another thing that I like that I have discussed with you, and I have questioned appraisers on the phone, is that, do you consider maybe it looks like it wouldn't appraise, but there's 10 multiple offers paying $50,000 over value over what the list price value was. That's an indicator that some appraisers might take into effect and others wouldn't?
Well, no, every appraiser should do the same job. That's right. We're bound by USPAP, which is Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice. So we have the rules of the road. We know what we need to do. Then it goes into the competency end of it. So everybody is stuck. Everybody should do the same thing. Now back to what you're asking here. Well, it's doing your job and doing your job thoroughly. So if there's multiple offers, it should be addressed when you're doing your appraisal.
Right.
Because we are required by law to address the 3-year sales history of this subject, in a 1-year and then the lenders require a 1-year listing history, and then you have to, if it's a sale, you have to analyze the contract.
Sure.
And so when you're analyzing the contract, not only do you look to see what the bottom line is, to say the sales price, you have to consider the length of time, which is marketing exposure time. You have to also address just what you're saying, if there's multiple offers. And now let's say if a property sells for over asking price, you have to address that.
Yeah.
And then there's the next step too. Let's say if a property sold at X dollars and in a short period of time, and then you're appraising it after that period of time, and the sales price has changed, you still have to address that as well. So I mean, all the information that a realtor gives us should be considered.
Absolutely.
And if nothing at all, it should be just put into your work file.
I have so many more questions I want to ask you, but we're out of time. So would you be willing to come back another day?
Sure, be glad to.
What is your phone number? Because I think, people will, and we'll talk the next time, you can be hired by sellers. You can be hired to do time of death appraisals and things. So a homeowner could call you directly.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So what is your phone number?
Well, our phone number is 831-372, and it's 3181. And there's multiple people who pick up the phone.
It's a great group that you're with.
There's 8 of us. We're out on Garden Road, and we're here to do a service. We're local people that survive through local businesses. Referrals is the key, just like yourself.
Absolutely.
You have to do a competent job.
Right.
So that you can keep your business perpetuating.
Absolutely.
Through high and low periods.
Well, Gerry Enders, thank you so much for coming and being on the show, and I'm gonna definitely invite you back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.